All right, recording should be going for was it week 5 now?
Yes.
Week 5 we're heading into. It's what the fourth episode of the podcast or fifth? I can't remember anymore.
This is the
Um.
fifth.
Ah,
Yes, fifth episode.
all right. Well, start off with the college stuff, and before you say anything, Chris, I already know it's coming.
I'm holding my mouth. I'm
LS,
holding my mouth.
LSU lost to Ole Miss, but only it was a good game by both teams. The offenses looked amazing, but that's only because both of our defenses are absolute garbage. What
Not gonna
won it for
lie.
y'all?
Yes.
What won it for y'all? I think was just the coaching. Our coach made some very stupid decisions when he wasn't able to stop y'all the whole game. He thought, I'm up by 2 points. Let's run out the clock and give him the ball back.
Yes. And we thank you for that. That was very much helpful to us because honestly, when we started to struggle somewhat on offense during the third quarter, I thought, oh, this is probably where everything's gonna go wrong. We're gonna lose to LSU like we always do, but nope. Those crucial mistakes y'all made was the turning point for the Rebels, and I couldn't be more happier. Like that was a big one, and I'm a die-hard fan of Ole Miss, and I haven't seen a whole lot of those close games with LSU. And everyone knows me; I'm always talking trash against LSU, no matter how bad my Rebels are. So this was a big one because this helps us helps our chances to go to Atlanta for the SEC championship. Now, of course, we're still got 6, 7 more games to go left, so I'm not gonna say a whole lot, but this was a big one. Um, I was kind of hoping we'd be 2-0 in SEC play, but obviously, what can you do against Bama last week? Not much.
Yeah,
But this one, big turn of events. Offense finally got on track. Defense was unfortunately non-existent, but we've always had a bad defense. There's nothing else to say about that. I hope we can do better against Arkansas this coming weekend, but we shall see. But overall, got 2 words for my LSU bros: hotty toddy.
and
By the
Paulo,
way, hottie toddy sounds like something you would get catcalled in the street in England. Like, who came up with hottie toddy? Hottie
um,
toddy sounds like potatoes aren't cool enough to eat yet.
well, funny story you asked that, Apollo.
oh
So here's a
lord,
little bit of Ole Miss history. I'll keep it brief. But hottie toddy comes from the drink hot toddy. It's something you drink when you like have a cold or you want something hot during the cold weather. So I would imagine that whoever came up with the phrase hottie toddy for the Ole Miss Rebels was probably drunk, as you stated. So I don't. That's the best history lesson I can give to y'all. I don't. I need to do a little more digging to find out where it really originated from, but that's what I'm gonna say. So there we
All
have
right.
it.
yeah. Just to conclude this though, good game to the Rebels. We beat ourselves up.
And good game to the Tigers.
I only ask that y'all, and believe it's in November, uh, beat Georgia, please, for the love of God.
We will try, but right now I want to focus on Arkansas because they have always given Ole Miss crap for years, and I'm more worried about them than I am worried about Georgia at the moment. So, but yes, we will try our best.
And also some big games for this upcoming weekend. One that I'm looking forward to, Texas and Oklahoma, which is
Mm,
always going to be a fight. I believe
yes.
Texas is going to end up winning though. Texas is strong this year.
Yeah, I kind of got Texas too because they look like a more complete team, and Oklahoma is still kind of figuring things out. So yeah, I got my money bet
Yeah,
on Texas, even if I'm
and
not a betting man.
and the other game, it's staying in Texas, I believe. Actually, I don't know if this is in Texas or Alabama, but Texas A&M and Alabama. It's it should be a good. That is this week, right? I gotta double check to make sure now. I'm second guessing
Wait,
myself.
wait, which game?
A&M and Bama.
Oh, mm.
Isn't
don't
that
know.
this week?
It might be. Let me. And I gotta check myself.
Let's see. Nope. Yep. It's this
Yep.
weekend.
Okay.
I had to double
There we
check.
go. That's a
Double
good one.
check. Second guessing myself here. But Will, y'all better beat him. I swear to God.
If you can't beat probably what am declaring as the worst Nick Saban ran
Hey,
Bama
watch
team.
yourself there, because remember what happened to your Rebels.
Yes, I know that, but still this Bama team just doesn't scare anyone. Even though my Rebels did lose to them last week, I don't know. They're just still not scary enough for me. Like they've had struggle win after struggle win after struggle win. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut after that.
Yeah. All right, but moving on from college, before we start the NFL stuff, there's something else we have to mention this week in
Yes,
regards
yes.
to our friend Paulo here. Paulo, how does it feel that your fantasy team has the same record as the Bears and the Panthers?
It feels pretty good since I'm not being paid to win.
Right. Sure.
Yes, but you did pay to be in this league, did you not?
I did, but I'm not the only one who did who's gonna lose at the end of the season.
Yeah. Well, you'll be at the bottom.
We'll
For
see.
those at home, he is the only one in our league without a win.
Yes, it's quite
Hey,
embarrassing.
look, but I don't. Chris. I got more points than you. If I went up against you,
Now
I
wait,
might
hold
beat
up,
you.
hold up. Wait a minute, hold up. That's because most of my team choked this week. Like everybody decided, oh, we'll just have a day off, and nobody played well. I had a one play get negative points. Like, how the hell do you get negative points?
The story of the week for Paulo was his opponent was projected to lose by a pretty significant margin. And the whole previous week, he was prancing around saying, "Oh, I can't wait to get my first win this weekend,"
Look,
only to
I
get
would have.
murdered.
I would have,
Yes.
but then Bobby like 75 points, and then Justin Fields had like 50 more points than he's had any
I
other
called
week.
that
So
too. I called that too. I said, "Watch, he's going up against the Broncos defense. He's gonna have a day." No, that'll never happen.
nah,
90
you said he would
points.
drop 100 points, and he did
He
not.
got close.
Well, close only counts in horseshoes,
What was it,
hand
like
grenades, and
89?
atomic bombs. It was 89.
But anyway, with the roast of Paulo out of the way, we're not even going to go into the whack trades he's tried to do, but we'll save that for another
Yeah.
day.
They are elite.
Yeah.
Let's get
No.
in. Let's get into week 5 here. Tomorrow night, Thursday, we have the Bears and Commanders.
Yeah.
Not a great matchup.
No.
This is like on par, I think, with a little bit better than the Broncos and Bears last week.
Yeah. I this is a hard one because it's like probably the most. It's not as bad as the Bears and Broncos game as last week, but entering this week, it just does not. You think of Bears and Commanders, it just doesn't sound appealing. It's like if you want to order carrot cake, you just like, ugh, it's not
Hey, I
appealing
like
at all.
carrot cake.
I'm just speaking for myself here, so I'm not a carrot cake fan.
Watch your
But
watch your mouth with the carrot cake slander.
Yeah,
First off,
thank you, Will.
you're about to get jumped.
like I said, I'm just speaking for myself here, and I see this matchup. I'm just thinking, this is an ugly piece of carrot cake. I'm sorry, like, but
Yeah, it's not a great matchup to have on a Thursday night, but it could have been worse. Let's be real. I think I'm going to have to go with the Commanders on this one after the performance they had this past week, going into overtime against the Eagles of all teams. The offense looks great.
The Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Commanders by at least 7.
Yeah, I have to agree with you with that one because the Commanders' offense, while they're not like superb or up par or anything like that, I think they're just better than the Bears because the Bears couldn't even beat the Broncos last week, and the Broncos
They blew what was it?
week,
a 21-point lead last week against the
Yeah,
Broncos.
they had a 21 point. Yeah, how do you blow a lead that big like that? Like the final score was for them was 31-28. Broncos won,
Which I believe it
and
was sealed on a Justin Fields interception, correct?
it was, yes. And Justin Fields had probably his best day that
I think it's confirmed that was his best day in his NFL career.
yeah, like he went 28 for 35, 335 yards, threw 4 touchdowns. Still couldn't win the game
Yep.
against this Broncos team that got walloped a week before by the Miami Dolphins. Like that's just embarrassing, bro.
Yeah, and
So,
then
yeah, give me the Commanders all day. Any day of the
yeah,
week.
and this
I'll
week
take the Commanders as well. Yeah.
this week we also have to point out the I don't know if it's just a rumor at this point or if it's something that might actually happen, but there are claims that if the Bears go 0-5, they might be trading Fields to the Falcons.
Ooh, jeez, I hope that doesn't happen.
That's going to
I
make the
mean,
Falcons a better team, I think. I don't know if it's just the
yeah.
system in Chicago that's holding Fields back or if it's just that bad of a quarterback play for Fields, but I think it might be an
I
upgrade
think
for the Falcons.
I think that might just be rumors because I can't see Fields getting traded before they fire Eberflus. Like, what has he done as a head coach? Like, I don't. If they keep losing, I can definitely see them like getting rid of Fields at the end of the season. But it'd be weird if they got rid of Fields before Eberflus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like Fields is a better quarterback than Eberflus is a coach in terms of like what we've seen.
Yeah. But Will, your thoughts if he is in fact here?
Oh, yes, I am back. Not many thoughts. It's just not. These primetime games this year have just not been very appealing. Sunday night's been great, but these Thursday night games have been terrible, and this just adds to the list of terrible Thursday night games to watch.
I
But
don't
I
know.
do
Last
think it'll
week's was
be the
pretty good.
Commanders. Eh,
What was last week's?
Lions, Packers.
That was a pretty good game. Mainly just because of the
but
Lions.
I think it'll be the. Yeah, no, I mean it was a very one-sided game though. Once again, but I think it'll be the Commanders with the way they played against Philly, and
Yeah.
I just don't think the Bears are gonna. The Bears played against, a terrible Denver offense and terrible defense.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the Commanders go, they didn't let that game get too far away from them with the Eagles. So I think it'll be a Commanders game by at least 14.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I got the Commanders by 10. And no, not 21 this time because I was so off.
I mean, you
with that.
almost had it in like the first half.
Yeah, I was close. I was like, yes, yes. And then the Raiders decided to make it a game. I was like, oh.
No dinner from Paulo on that one.
Nope, none for you.
All right. And first for Sunday, an early morning game from London, Jaguars and Bills. This one I don't think should be too much of a question. The Jaguars are okay, but I don't think they're beating the Bills. The Bills are
Nah,
on
I got
fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Bills just destroyed Miami last week, which I wasn't expecting them to beat Miami like that. I was expecting them to at least beat them by maybe a score, but to beat them by, what was it, like 28 points, I think it was? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
48-20. They just beat them down, man. And the Bills have caught fire ever since that just embarrassing loss to the Jets earlier
Yep.
this season. So give me the Bills. I think they'll win maybe by 10 or 14 points in this matchup, but the Bills are going to overwhelm the Jaguars for sure, unless the Jaguars just suddenly catch fire and just make it a game with the Bills.
I agree. I'll take the Bills by like 10. I think the Bills are on fire. Obviously, I think Miami's a better team than the Jaguars right now, and we saw what happened to them. So I think that the Jaguars have the potential to be a really good team, but I think just right now, based on this past week, I think the Bills have to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't. For me, the only thing like I have as a question for that is the Miami defense isn't anything amazing. I think what's going to come down to it here is I think the Jaguars have a little bit better defense than Miami did. I think it'll be closer, but I still think the Bills are winning. Their offense is just rolling right now compared to the Jaguars, who just started to find their groove against the Falcons last week. So I'm going to say Bills by 10.
Yeah,
Is Will gone again?
I think he
Nah,
is.
I'm here. Nah,
Oh.
I'm still here. Nah, I'm just listening to y'all's input. I think it's going to be more than 10, honestly. I mean,
Are
you
you,
have the high
are
power
you,
offense of the Bills, and Jacksonville's defense is not anything fantastic. I mean, even the Texans put up 37 against them in a 20-point win. So we're saying the Bills are only going to score 10 more points than the Jaguars. So we're saying that the Texans' offense is that close to the Bills' offense. I don't think that's the case by any means. I think the Bills' offense is definitely better than Houston's for sure. So I think it's at least 14 to 20 point difference in this game between them.
I think the Bills' offense is better than Houston's, but the thing with that is Houston and Jacksonville, that's a divisional matchup, and then the Bills and Miami, that's a divisional matchup. So those are always different. Like the Jaguars always have trouble with Houston for some reason, even if the Jaguars are the better team, at least on paper
On
or in
paper, yeah.
people's opinions or whatever, but it's just a bad matchup for them.
Plus, you also have to throw into account that I don't believe Jacksonville left London after last week. Like, I think they've
No,
been
yeah, they
there.
Yeah.
stayed. They're still there.
Yeah, and the Bills have to fly in.
Yeah.
yeah.
If they're not already there, they've probably
Yeah.
been there though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Jacksonville. They got to play in London twice. Like, ugh.
What do you mean? That's
Yikes.
their home.
That's true.
Yeah, that's where they want. That's where the owner wants the team to go, but we'll see.
Well, moving on. Speaking of the Texans from Will, Texans Falcons. This this is
Yes.
Hmm.
I think this one's going to be
I
closer
think.
than the last few ones for the Texans because the Falcons have
Yeah.
a pretty decent defense, but the Texans offense is rolling right now. That Stroud is finding his rhythm with the rest of his offense. He's clicking with his receivers. The O
I gotta,
line's starting to come together pretty well.
I gotta say, I gotta really give my props to C.J. Stroud and the Texans right now because they proved me wrong drastically last week. Because I really thought Pittsburgh's defense was just gonna be too much for them to handle, and Houston just went to town on them. Like, I mean, and let me look at the stats real quick. Yeah, like C.J. Stroud lit them up, 16 for 30, 306, 2 touchdowns. Like, holy mackerel! Like, I wasn't expecting that from the Texans. So yeah, I'm choosing the Texans this week, just based off of that alone. And if C.J. Stroud continues to play like that, even against Atlanta, who's got a pretty stout defense, they're not great, but they're pretty stout to an extent. Just give me the Texans by 10 in this matchup. I really think, and if honestly, if the Texans blow out the Falcons, I would I would just embrace C.J. Stroud and kiss him on the cheeks. I don't care, like,
This man.
because y'all know how much I hate the Falcons, so this would really make my day. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I'll take the Texans in this matchup by 14. I think the Texans are a good team, and I know they're getting props, and people are starting to see that. But honestly, like we have to, if they have a good game against the Falcons, similar to last week against Pittsburgh, I think we might have to talk about the Texans being potentially the best team in that division right now.
Yeah, for
Potentially.
real. But of course,
Yeah.
they gotta continue to play consistently and win consistently as well.
Yeah, and that
That's
I
the
believe
key.
is going to come down to their O line, which I believe they're starting to get their starters back slowly. Last week, if correct me if I'm wrong, Will, last week was the first time they had one of their starters back of the like what 3 that were injured.
Yeah, that was the first time they had one. This week they're looking to get back Titus Howard and another starting O line. Tunsil's still questionable, but that O line is starting to get better, starting to get key players. The defense is what made that game last week because they got their second safety back. You know, Jimmy Ward was back on top of Jalen Peter. That's both your captains on defense. So it surprised me just as much as a Texans fan to, you know, hold them to 6 points and to score on that defense that is a pretty stout defense, you know, in the league. They're not bottom of the barrel, they're not the top, but they're right there in the middle, close to the top. So I think I'm gonna say it. You know, Paulo's gonna owe me lunch. I'm gonna
Oh
go out on a
boy.
limb and say they blow them out by 21 at least.
Woo!
Hey, I didn't make no deal
Seeing,
with
hold
you.
up,
You can owe
yeah,
yourself
you did.
lunch.
You know the way they're
Go
rolling,
Wills.
like this offense is rolling. You know, Jacksonville beat them last week, 23-7. We beat Jacksonville, you know, 37-17. There's no way we don't roll them by at least 21. Even though it's a home game for them, just how things are going for Houston. It's just now the puzzle pieces are fitting. We've won 2 in a row. The momentum's there. We're just getting back more people. So I think they win by at least 21.
If y'all can
Mm.
stop the run, then that's an automatic win because
Yeah,
Desmond
Bijan
Ritter
is going to
isn't
be an
going to do
issue.
anything. Yeah,
No, by
Desmond
no
Ritter can't do
means.
anything that Kenny Pickett can't do. So it's really just
Exactly.
Bijan you got to worry about.
And Bijan hasn't been producing much lately. Ever since the early 3-2-1 start they had, like his name's coming in awfully quiet lately. So it's like, wonder what's going
In the
on there.
run game, yes, but I think a majority of his yardage is coming from receiving.
Didn't he have like
Um,
100 yards against the Jaguars?
He had
in
105
this
yards
loss?
against Jacksonville. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
like he had
oh
a
yeah,
good
look at that.
game, just the Falcons didn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
105 on the ground and another 32 through the
Bijan
air.
is that offense.
Second
Yeah.
on receiving for his team. The first is
Told you.
Jonnu Smith at 95, and Bijan's right behind him with 32. So I mean
I
that's
take back what
insane.
I said.
I'm still saying they're up by 21. That's not changing.
Somebody
Yeah.
file a
They're
missing
rolling them.
persons report for Kyle Pitts. What happened to that man?
Oh,
For
Jonnu
that
Smith,
dude
the
who?
tight end.
disappeared.
Who's Kyle Pitts?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is Jonnu Smith getting so many as the backup tight
Jonnu,
end? And then
yeah,
you got Kyle
8
Pitts
for
just
95.
MIA.
I don't know what the heck happened to him. Like he just disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
It's weird with what they're doing with him and how they're handling him in Atlanta. I don't get it. But-
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one. Panthers and Lions. This one is in Detroit, and I think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a huge difference because the Lions, I think, are gonna win this regardless. They have
I
too
think
good of an
so, too.
offense. Their defense is really good.
I mean, they just
The Panthers
Go
are
ahead.
struggling, man. They really are.
Yeah, and Bryce Young returned this past weekend, and his stats against Minnesota, if this will load. Okay, here we go. He went 25 for 32 for 204 yards, and no picks, no touchdowns, just not great. Like he's not doing well, folks. And yeah, I think the Lions will easily win this game. I'm not gonna say 21. I'm tempted to do 21, but I'm not quite there yet because the Panthers have an okayish defense. They held a really high scoring Vikings offense at 21 last week. So the fact that they can do that, I think they'll probably limit the Lions offense a little bit. But not completely. But I have the Lions winning by at least 10 in this matchup because, like Jose said, they have a better defense, they have a better offense. Panthers will somewhat slow them down in defense, but they're just not going to get the job done on offense. So, Lions by 10 for this matchup.
Yeah, I'm gonna go by 10 as well.
Yeah.
I'll take him by 14. I think we saw what the Lions could do against Green Bay, and Green Bay is another one of those teams that has a pretty decent defense. Like nothing to write home about, same as the Panthers, but I don't know. I feel like the Lions are just continuing to get better, whereas the Panthers are still in development hell
Yeah.
trying to get going. So
They haven't quite found their spot in this league yet.
yeah. I mean, I think
No.
the Lions are just better on all fronts, like quarterback, run
Mhm.
game, defense. Like, there's no advantage for Carolina in this matchup.
Not at all. And then Carolina's 0-4 going into this game. Bryce Young's second game back from injury. The way Detroit's playing, I mean, they've continued from what they did last year into this year without really missing a beat. They're still trying to get it together. They are missing Jamison Williams, which should be getting back this week, coming off of that suspension for gambling, which will be another huge piece to add to their already pretty solid wide receiving core behind St. Brown and Josh Reynolds and their tight end Sam Laporta, who as a rookie is just absolutely killing it out there in his tight end class this year. So I agree with Paulo. I think the Lions take it by 14.
Alrighty. Then we're all in agreement. Lions
This
by
is
10 or
weird.
14.
I think this is the
What?
first time that we've all been in agreement about everyone so far. This is weird. Next up we got Titans Colts. I'm taking the Colts in this. The
Yeah.
Colts with Anthony Richardson. The Colts are actually pretty decent.
Yeah, with Anthony Richardson back in the mix of things, like he's clearly shown that he has grown with the offense, with the Colts, and he's producing very well with the Colts. So, and with the Titans off and on again consistency with winning games. Like last week they blew out the Browns. This week, where are the
They blew out the
shoot.
Bengals like
Yeah,
27-3.
that's what. Did I say Browns? I meant the Bengals. My bad. But the week before the Browns destroyed the Titans, but
By
I
basically
mean,
the same amount as they just beat the
literally.
Bengals. Yeah.
So it's like
Exact same amount.
like the Titans just keep flip flopping. So it's like, which version of the Titans are we getting this week? So
Mhm.
yeah, give me the Colts over the Titans for this one, because I can't stick with the Titans because of their inconsistency, both on offense and defense. Like, you just don't know what you're gonna get. Are you
Will
gonna get a
Derrick
good?
Henry go back into hibernation like he did against the Browns?
Yeah, that just Derrick Henry for no yards and then come out last week and rush for 70 yards and then rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown.
Which is
Is that
wild
the
in
same one we're
itself.
gonna get inside of Indianapolis? Is Tannehill gonna continue to be inconsistent? Probably, but I think as a division AFC South division game, with it being a home game for the Colts, I think Anthony Richardson will lead them to another victory with this one over Tennessee. Just because of how inconsistent Tannehill is, and Henry as well.
I'll
Yeah,
also go with the Colts by like 3 because the Titans are. I feel like both the Colts and the Titans have a high-ish ceiling, but you're right, they just don't always hit it. And Jonathan Taylor is back this week, so we'll see how that
Allegedly is
impacts
allegedly
things.
playing
Well,
this week.
he has the
Allegedly,
potential to be back if he actually
right?
plays.
To
Who knows?
quote
But
Paulo,
And like
it's theoretically
Jose said
possible.
earlier,
theoretically possible.
yes. Like Jose said earlier, these divisional games are a whole nother Apollo did. There's a whole nother game besides regular season. So I mean, this is going to be one of those games that it's going to be good from start to finish,
Yep.
just because they are division rivals. Like it could possibly go back and forth. I don't think the lead is more than 7, if that, at any point in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
Regardless,
Yeah.
though, I think we can all agree Colts are taking the victory on Sunday.
yes.
The next one I think is obvious. It's Dolphins and Giants. The Giants are getting killed.
I gotta
Yeah.
roast. I have to roast the Giants for a second. Like, you know how us Saints fans have been complaining about our O line has been trashed this season because they keep allowing sacks or pressure. Gosh, man, holy crap, Giants. Are y'all just an open field for when Daniel Jones gets sacked 11 times in one game? Come on, bro. Like, I've seen diarrhea flow faster out of someone's butthole.
That's a heck of a comparison. Jeez.
What
Like,
a-
God. I'm
This
sorry,
is
but
why
it's accurate.
What did
this
he
is why you
say?
listen to the podcast for this professional analysis.
Like, Jesus H,
It's
bro. Like that offensive line was trash. Like it's not trash. It's just diarrhea. Like it's just bad.
yeah.
Oh my god. Like I've never seen
Then
such a bad
again,
O line in my life.
That's
then
Chris's
again,
dark horse
Seattle's
of the
defense.
NFC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
that's true. Yeah,
Then again,
I
Seattle's defense is has been pretty stellar this season. You know, making these stops. They've had some good games, and not like the Giants or anything spectacular, but you know, Seattle still shows that they can dominate. The Panthers, I mean, that's not much of a game either. You know, that team's still trying to figure it out. And then going all the way back to week 2, I think that's what shows that they played the Lions. You know, one of those
yeah.
better offenses, top offenses, and they still came out on top 37-31. So I think it's a no-brainer for this week. I don't think the Giants are getting their win.
No.
They
Yeah,
can
I
Definitely
think the
try
not.
it again
Dolphins
next
are
week,
gonna.
but it's definitely not happening.
The
Mm-mm.
Dolphins are gonna be wanting to bounce back after the Bills too. They're gonna stomp them by at least 21.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
see the Giants. The
I,
Giants couldn't put up anything against
No,
Seattle, so what are they gonna do against
no,
Miami?
not at
I
all.
got
Here's
all
the
right.
real question. Are we gonna have another 70 something point blowout?
That's
That's
possible.
it's very possible. Yes.
I
I mean,
see.
have you seen the Giants O line? Like
I've
But here's the thing: just like with Jonathan Taylor coming back, there's talks that Saquon's coming back this week as well. So is that going to help Daniel Jones? I mean, it's not like he has top tier receivers either, but will that help the passing game? Probably a little.
it would, but it's not gonna make the difference. It's not gonna help them win. It'll just keep them in the game a little bit more.
Yeah. I I don't see any way the Giants could win this unless somehow miraculously by the grace of God himself I don't see them winning this at all.
The only way they win this if Tua somehow gets 7 concussions this game.
I
It's the
mean,
only way
even
they're
still,
winning.
I think Mike White with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill still beats the Giants, though.
Raheem Mostert and Devon Achan in the backfield is it's just
Yeah,
It's
killer.
I
like
mean,
it's like it, Daniel Jones might be all like just for comparison here if Tua goes down, him compared to Mike White, Daniel Jones might be all big and everything, but he don't have much for weapons. Meanwhile, Mike White over here is like a toddler with 2 shotguns.
yeah, I mean, even if Tua and Mike White went down, and you had to put like Mostert in the shotgun, I still feel like the Dolphins win.
Yeah, I think this was
Just
a
direct
no-brainer.
snap it to the running backs, and Miami's still gonna take the win.
The Wildcat.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Oh boy, Saints Patriots in Foxborough. Oh God.
I'm scared for the Saints, but
yeah.
only because we've been bad, not because the Patriots have been good.
This is a defensive game. That's what I'm seeing
Absolutely.
looking at
Yeah,
this. This is an all
definitely.
defense game.
Like the Patriots have no offense, neither do we. Both sides have a pretty solid defense, so so the real question is whose defense is going to make enough plays to where their offense would potentially win the game for them.
Yeah.
And like after watching, and I was at the game Sunday with my cousin. After seeing how our offense played, I just don't have a lot of hope that we'll score a lot of touchdowns in this one.
We have plenty
Like
of weapons. We have all the personnel we need. It's the
it's the
offensive
coaching.
coordinator, man. Offense
The
coordinator
coach,
and head
yes.
coach. We need new people. The guys we got
Yes.
right now are not it.
Yes, I agree. The head coach, I've said this before, and people thought I was nuts. I said that Dennis Allen would be a good defensive coach only, defensive coordinator, excuse me, not a good head coach, because his track record has proved it. And people are like, oh no, 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 you're crazy. You gotta give him time. Like, he's had time, and here we are. We're losing games again. We're not scoring enough offense. Yeah, he's good playing, calling good defense, but he's not calling. He's not a good head coach. If he can't see that the offensive coordinator is a problem and has been a problem the last 3 seasons, we're screwed. You might as well just lose your job. And everybody on the coaching staff should lose their job. Like, there's no other way around it. That's how fed up I am with this Saints team already, and we're only 5 games of the season.
What gets me is that in his interview this past week, he said that they don't want to make any coaching changes during the season because they've never seen that go well. I'm sorry, but I believe there are some cases where it did.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
are plenty of cases.
that just means we're gonna have coaching changes at the end of the season that are gonna include him, because if we continue to lose, like we can't just let that slide.
Yep.
I'll take the Saints in this matchup by 1 point.
One.
Yeah,
We beat Tennessee by 1 point,
True.
and I have no
I
faith in
literally
our
won
offense.
points.
Yeah, and the only reason I say that too is because I feel as much as Derek Carr has been struggling due to the O-line, due to whatever, I feel like he still makes less mistakes than Mac Jones, and I think that's what seals the deal.
yeah.
Let's keep in mind also that the Patriots just lost 2 major key players on defense to season-ending injuries as
Oh,
well.
that's true. Yeah.
Matthew Judon and I forget his other name. 2 key components just got and J.C. Jackson got traded if I'm not mistaken as well.
That's true. Yeah.
You're right.
So that's 3
Huh.
players
Well,
that are
J.C.
from
Jackson
that
got
defense that are
traded
not
back
gone.
to the Patriots.
Was that back to the Patriots? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because he
From
went
the-
to the
But
Chargers
still-
last year, and now he's back on the Patriots. But
still,
still,
they
Matthew
lost
Judon
2
was their
key
best
component.
defensive
Mhm.
player, so
Was their best rusher they had.
yeah.
Of course, it comes down, even with those players out for the Patriots, it just comes down to, can the Saints offense just move the ball and score touchdowns? Because we're already struggling to score
Can
20
we get
points.
in the
and-
godforsaken end zone, please?
Yes, exactly. That's where we're struggling the most at. And that's why I'm hesitant to even give the Saints the edge, just because of that fact alone. So, but I'm going to go ahead and put my faith into the Saints with this one. And I'm going to say Saints by 3 for this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the same. Patriots offense doesn't
Yeah,
show me
I'd
anything
say-
to think otherwise.
I say a touchdown at most with this one. It's really going to depend on what kind of start the Saints get off to. If it's a rocky start, it's going to be a long game.
I've said
Yeah.
it before, and I will say it again. Our next 2 games are the Patriots this week and the Texans the following. I think we're going to beat the Patriots, and we're going to get destroyed by the Texans.
See, I don't know about destroyed, only because of our defense. I don't know if we're going to be destroyed. Lose, probably, but destroyed, I'm not sure about that.
Depends on how Stroud plays that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's move on. In Pittsburgh this week, we have the Steelers and Ravens. This one's
That's
tough.
Ravens are,
Yeah.
is it though? Based on this past week?
You have seen how the Ravens have been playing, Paulo.
I mean, they just cracked the Browns. Like, I know that they didn't have Deshaun Watson, but
Okay, but I'm about to say, yeah.
but still,
His
like,
defense
the
should have
Ravens-
stopped him.
the Ravens
Can't
put
blame
up points
Deshaun
on
not
their
being
defense, yeah.
there. Mm-hmm.
Whereas the
I think
Steelers
I
just
think it's
got
a no-brainer though.
mollywopped. And the
Yeah,
Steelers
but
have to play
once
Trubisky.
again, um, it's a division game. We know
Yep.
how these go. Say
Oh,
it keeps
yeah.
coming back around that it's a division game. These are always dogfights, or at least they usually are. I know,
Mhm.
like you said last week, the Ravens and Browns game was an absolute blowout, but these are usually dogfights to the end. But it's a home game for Pittsburgh. I think that's a
Yeah.
crucial advantage for
For
them. Is
me-
where they've been doing really well this season is home games.
For me, what's questionable with it is just the Ravens. They've been really inconsistent game to game, like offensive wise. Like that game against the Colts where Lamar fumbled, like what was it, 2 or 3 times? they were struggling that game.
Yeah.
On
And here's
top
the
of
thing,
that,
though. Oh,
go
go ahead.
ahead. No, you first.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, no matter how much they struggle, I feel like Baltimore's defense is pretty good this year, and Pickett is out. It's Trubisky. Deontay Johnson's still
True.
out. Like, what kind of
Well, that
offense are the Pittsburgh Steelers gonna be able to produce?
yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
I don't think the Ravens have been inconsistent though. Week 1, 25-9 against Houston. Week 2, 27-24 against the Bengals. Week 3, who'd they play?
Indianapolis.
Yep,
Indy.
Yeah.
that was
Did they
not a
play
great
Indy?
game for them.
Not a great game. That's one game out of the whole season. Yeah, 22-19. Last week, like you said, against the Browns, 28-3. I mean, they had one game where they had an issue, and that was a Lamar issue. Just one game out of the 4 they played. I don't think there's an inconsistency there. I think they go in there and just they take the win.
I think they're gonna win it, but I don't think it's gonna be by a whole lot. I don't think it's gonna be by like last week against the Browns. I think it's gonna be closer at
No.
least.
I don't know. Like Paulo said,
I mean,
Pickett's
it's
out.
they're going up against one backup quarterback
Trubisky.
after last week going up
Yeah.
against a backup quarterback. But I will say, like,
Yeah.
we have more knowledge about like Trubisky's capabilities. It just depends on if he can go out there and do something.
Yeah, and last week's was against a rookie. That was his first starting game against a division rival, against a somewhat well-rounded team.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
they still
little
don't have
unfair
Nick
of an
Chubb or anything,
advantage.
so
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll take the
Yeah.
Ravens by 10 in this matchup. I think it's closer, but I still think the Ravens like aren't gonna be sweating too hard in this game.
I'm gonna take them by 7.
I say by
Yeah.
14.
I say I'm gonna go 7 as well.
Bengals Cardinals. Geez, some of these matchups, man.
Oh man, I kind of feel bad for the Bengals because they just look like they haven't got. At first, I thought maybe they're getting the groove after winning the last 2 games, but they stunk it up hard last week. Like, good
They didn't win their
grief.
last 2. They've only won a single game. They
Oh.
are bottom of their division.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, like they have yet to find their identity, and what's really bad is that they really haven't gotten Jamar Chase involved. Like, I mean, just aside from Joe Burrow's injury problem right now, but what's going on? Like, why hasn't this offense that has been potent the last 2 seasons suddenly just it's looking bad? Like,
Personally, like as much as I love Joe Burrow, I think it's him. Something else is wrong. It can't just be that leg.
yeah.
Either when he tweaked it, it got a little worse, or they didn't give him enough time to fully heal. Even Jamar in interviews said that he would rather him sit out and them lose a game than him come back and end up worse than he was.
Yeah, well, he hasn't had any time to heal. He keeps going out there every week. When is he
Yeah,
getting a
like
chance to heal?
I know, like
I've said this before and I say it again. I think they'll probably win one of their next 2 games before their bye week, and I think after the bye week they'll come back a better team.
let's hope so, because it's not looking good for the Bengals. And
Mhm.
I know they've had their rough starts, but this is rougher than normal. Like, this is
Yep.
just bad. Like, Joe Burrow went 20 for 30, only 165 yards, didn't throw a single touchdown, and not a single pick. It's just this is bad. Like,
Mhm.
if I'm a Bengals fan, I'd be extremely concerned right
Oh
now
no,
because
Bengals
this is
fans are in panic mode right now.
oh,
Me
I believe
included.
it. Like, I had the
I don't.
Bengals. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I had the Bengals winning that division this year without much of a competition, but it's they're making all of us look bad with the way they're playing right now. I mean, granted, it's still early in the season; they can still regroup and
Yeah.
maybe start winning out the rest of the season. But they better make some changes or do something about it quickly because their season's going downhill fast.
I don't think they're winning this game. I don't think they're winning their next two before the bye. They've
Yeah, I
got
don't.
the Cardinals this week and the Seahawks next week with that defense. But as far as the Cardinals game goes this week, I mean, Josh Jobs is out there freaking balling in the
It
absence of
really
Kyler
is.
Murray. And it's not like he
Like,
has star receivers. I mean, he's got James Conner in the backfield. I mean, that's a solid running back, but he doesn't have star receivers. And his biggest one who's making a show of himself is Michael Wilson, the rookie. They are
yeah,
putting up points. Dobbs is making throws. Like it is a whole different Arizona team with Kyler out of the picture, which is insane. You're supposed to be franchise quarterback, and he has been removed, and they are still playing the way that they're playing. And I don't think
yeah,
it gets better for Cincy this week. I don't.
I don't think so either. I mean, Joshua Dobbs went 28 for 41, 265 yards, and 2 touchdowns against probably one of the best defenses in the league. Grant, they lost 35-16. Grant that, th- th- but that's not bad stats against a really tough defense.
Yeah.
Like and the fact that Arizona's been playing hard every single game. They won one game against the Cowboys, surprisingly. They fight hard. This team is not they do not want to bend over and take the beating. They want to fight, and that's why I think this could be Arizona's biggest win of the season, like in terms of marginal victory size. Like maybe this could be a blowout for all I know. I mean, it may not be a blowout. The Bengals might keep pace with them, but I could eat. But right now, I'm getting the
Yeah.
Cardinals victory here by 7, maybe 10.
If the Bengals play like they did the past couple weeks, then the Cardinals are winning this by at least 7. If somehow the Bengals can come back in this and Burrow can get back in his groove, and I've said this all season, if he can get back in his groove, they stand a chance. I think
Yeah.
it'll be a close game if that happens, like maybe 3 points.
Yeah, if it's close, then maybe the Bengals might have a hope. But right now, I got the Cardinals winning by at least 7 or 10.
Yeah, I'm going 7
Give him
Cardinals.
at least 7. By at least. I mean, you went out and you beat the Cowboys, played a tough defense in the Niners, and the two games that they lost early in the season were less than 7 points. By a touchdown did they lose those games. So, like Chris said, they're not giving up. They're
No,
still fighting on a week to week basis. They could just easily lay down, take these losses every week, but Josh Dobbs is taking advantage of his playing time and he's showing it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's I like going back to the Cardinals. I just really admire what the Cardinals are doing right now because I really thought they would just sit down, just take the beating every week, and just tank for the #1 draft pick for next year. But they want to win, and they're trying their hardest. They may not be winning a lot right now, but they are trying their hardest. So that's why I gotta commend them for that, for not giving up on this season.
Yeah. But anyway, next up we have the Eagles and Rams. I think the Eagles should take this one easy. The Rams
Yeah.
might put up a little bit of a fight, but I don't see it being like a 3-point game. I don't see it being like last week against the Commanders either. I don't see it going into overtime. I think
Yeah, I don't
the
see it
Eagles are
either.
going to win by at least 7.
Yeah,
I think it'll be close. I don't think it's an easy win. The way the Rams are playing, the way that offense is playing right now, I don't think it's going to be that easy.
I think it's
Yeah.
going to be close through the majority of the game, and then around fourth quarter, that's when the Eagles will pull away.
Yeah, with the Rams offense, I feel like would be the part of that team that could potentially help them win this game, but their defense has got to step up. Their defense is not doing enough to help them win games, and it's shown. Like I think their worst performance was against the Bengals, and that's how the Bengals got their one lone win so far this season. They can't get the job done. The Rams offense has got some playmakers, but again, it's just like the Vikings. They got a decent to good offense, but not a good defense, and that's a big issue right there. So if the Eagles expose their defense like they've had time and time again, And also, if the Rams offense cannot perform against that tough Eagles defense, they're screwed. So yeah, I got the Eagles by 10 in this matchup.
I'll take the Eagles
I
by
think it's by 3.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same
I
wavelength.
think the
it's 3.
Rams got Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell,
Oh,
Cooper Cup's coming back this week. That's gonna be a
Kieran Williams
lethal
has been doing,
offense. Kieran Williams,
yeah,
yeah. And then
has
you
been
think about the
killing it for
Rams
Cam Akers.
defense. The Rams defense hasn't had like a bunch of like great performances, but week 1 they shut down the Seattle Seahawks. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And they keep it close. They're another team that's losing by literally a touchdown. They're not being blown out. They're
Yeah.
making a lot of small mistakes, but they're keeping it within a touchdown. And let's be honest, that Philly offense had a very rough start those first 2 weeks. Here in the last week and the week before, they started to find that ground again, but I still think they're too shaky. I think it's too shaky to say indefinitely which games they can win outright, but I think it's by 3 points. I don't think
It's
it's by
not like
more.
it's not like they beat down the Commanders or anything. They won in overtime.
No. Yeah, you're talking
That's
about a
true.
team that's a mid team, closer to the bottom, and that's all they did compared to a high-powered offense like the Rams have and a decent defense. Yeah, there's not much. I don't think it's going to be a big game like that.
So we're
Yeah.
all picking Eagles in this one then?
Yes.
Nah, me and Paulo said Rams by 3.
Ah,
Oh, you said
Oh.
Rams by 3? I said Eagles by
Oh.
Hey,
3.
Rams
But
by
you
3.
know,
Will by
Rams
himself
by
on this
3.
one.
you
All right,
know,
I'm saying
Yeah,
Rams by 3.
I said Eagles.
all right.
I'll
We got the
take-
first
And
different
Rams
pick.
after Washington did that. Yeah.
I'll still take Eagles by 3, but I don't blame you at all for saying Rams by
Yeah.
3. I think the Rams have a
Mm,
real
I'll,
shot at winning.
All right, we
I'll
got
be the
the
lone wolf over here.
we
That's
got the
okay.
first different pick of this episode.
That's crazy. How did that happen? How did we only get one so far?
Hey, we
I
still have
guess
4
it-
more games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's because of all the matchups.
Jets Broncos are next.
Ugh.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm picking Jets.
The toilet
Who you
bowl
picking
2.
Jets?
I'm picking
Two
Jets.
teams that are 1-3.
Y'all saw
Oh,
what they did
God.
against Kansas City.
That's one
Yes.
game though.
They
Yeah.
they had plus I think the Chiefs were
Kansas
also distracted by
City.
Taylor Swift.
Kansas City has a way better defense than Denver.
I mean, that's true.
I wouldn't say
True.
way better. I wouldn't say way better. Let's pump the
Denver's
brakes on that because they
Denver's
lost to
defense.
Detroit week 1. They lost to the Lions
That was
week
that was
1.
pre-Chris
So we
Jones though.
cannot say. Yeah, that's true. Well,
No
yeah, but
Chris
we can't say
Jones,
one
no
player makes
Travis
that defense.
Kelce week 1.
Yeah.
But
And they
still,
barely
like,
beat the Jaguars 17-9 in week 2. Barely.
the Jets
They
just
barely beat the Jags.
yeah, the Jets kept it close with the Chiefs. But that was the best game of Zach Wilson's entire career. So that
Yeah.
shouldn't be what we're basing it
I
off of.
I still don't think he's gonna play like hot garbage this week against a defense that's worse.
I
But
don't
it is
know.
also a game inside of Denver. You're in Mile High Stadium. That is home territory.
Denver is one
Russell
of
does
those.
much better at home than he does at any away game, and there's
Yeah.
a track record of it.
Denver's one of those places that's like top 5 hardest places to play in the NFL.
Yep, altitude is killer up there.
Yeah, I totally get where Jose's going. With Denver's defense not being good, but I don't know. I just can't see Zach Wilson just lighting up that Denver defense. Yeah, it's bad, but it's Zach Wilson. He has that last week was his best game of the season so far in his entire career. And I just can't see him repeating that. Like, yeah, sure, it's against Denver, but I don't know. I just see Denver having
gotta
their
point
best
out, though,
game.
I've got to point out though, last week Denver's defense let Chicago score 21 on them. That was
Justin Fields is better than Zach Wilson though.
that was
Yes,
also
like, by
Justin
far.
Fields' career day.
Was it actually though? Or
Yes.
is that what you're just saying? Career
Yes.
in the
No, it
air
was.
or
It was his-
career
it was-
overall?
It was career
like-
overall.
Yeah, that was his best day. I don't meaning NFL, not college. College, he most likely did better, but
How about this? How about this, Jose? If you were right about If you're right about Zach Wilson and the Jets beating the Broncos, I will personally treat you the Chick-fil-A. How about that?
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
Another bet.
Hey,
I'm serious.
I mean,
free
I'm not
free
I'm
food
not
next
dismissing-
weekend.
I'm not dismissing that the Jets defense isn't good because they have a lot of defensive playmakers. I just don't think that they're going to be able to hold up offensive wise against Denver. I just don't think it's happening. And the running back
I
situation,
don't think so
everyone
either.
was excited for him, but Brees Hall's not doing anything. Dalvin Cook is not doing anything.
He's
And
he's
Michael
he's
Carter.
missing.
I mean, there are constant arguments on that sideline, game to game, amongst the running backs and the running back coaches and offensive coordinators. They're just not getting anywhere. It's
They're
like
really
watching a
not.
bunch of siblings fight. It's just terrible to see that it's just not going to happen. I don't think. I think both teams are 1-3, but Denver is going to squeak by,
Hon-
another win.
Honestly, if this game ends in a tie, that would be laughable. So, like I could see these two teams tying. Honestly, that's how little faith I have in either team in beating each other.
I think this is
Say,
gonna be like I don't doubt that the Jets could win. I just don't have faith in the Jets. Like I know no one has faith in the Broncos either, but I have faith in the Broncos to be able to do stuff, not win games, but the
I
Jets
I
sometimes can't
had
even
faith
do
in the Broncos at the
anything.
beginning of the season, and they took that faith and threw it out the window and spat on it.
Yes.
So
Well, I mean, same with the Jets though. Like everyone thought the Jets could be
yeah,
a
but the
playoff
Jets have a
team.
legitimate reason for it, though.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, what
The
are we giving them
The
brownie
Broncos
points
do
because they have a
not.
good reason?
I'm still saying
I
Jets
said,
for this one, but I'm picking like by 3.
yeah, I think Broncos by 7, by at least a touchdown, if that.
I'll see. I was gonna
I
say
got.
Broncos by
There's
3,
just I
but
can't do more.
I'll also
I
go
can't.
Broncos by 7.
I'm
I
siding
can't
with
do more
Will and
than
Jose
7. I
and
just can't see
Paulo.
it happening.
Yeah.
I
I
will
just
be.
don't. I have no.
I will be the different one this time.
I'm serious. I will treat you to
I will
Chick-fil-A
hold
if
you
I.
to that. I will hold you to that for that convention next week.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
And I mean, hey, if the Jets do win, like I don't think they're going to, but if the Jets do win, that's good for me because I got Garrett Wilson in fantasy.
There
If
you
you
go.
actually put him in.
I did put him in. He's going in because every time I put him on the bench, he does a good thing.
All right, let's move on here. We've got what, 4 left, or is it? Nope, 3. We got 3.
3.
Should be 3.
Chiefs
Yeah, a couple teams
Vikings.
on bye. Chiefs and Vikings.
This one's.
This could be a shootout.
It could be, but it depends on how Kirk plays.
True.
If
Yeah,
Kirk
after
plays like
last week's
yeah,
performance,
Kirk did bad
Yeah.
last week.
atrocious. Kirk pulled a Kirk. It's simple.
He really did.
It's the
The
easiest thing.
worst we've seen.
But the question there is that something you can attribute to Carolina's defense, or is it just Kirk?
It's just Kirk.
Uh,
I mean, 12 of
it's just-
19,
yeah.
139 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. That's just Kirk.
Was it
Because,
2
I mean, it's
interceptions? Because
the
I thought it was
Panthers.
fumbles.
Yes. No, 2
Yes.
interceptions.
That could have been a fumble too. I remember you saying something about a fumble when
I'm
we were
gonna
out
look it up real
at the
quick.
I think he
restaurant the other
fumbled
day.
as well. But
Yeah, he did fumble
for sure,
once.
it's 2 INTs.
Yeah, so Kirk Cousins had 2 picks and a fumble.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
yeah.
he is an elite rusher as well. 1 rush for 0 yards
Hey,
is what I saw.
it's the attempt that counts.
Yes. But I think it was just Kirk having a Kirk week. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been playing pretty solid this whole season.
Yeah.
He's been having a pretty good season. I think it's just him reverting to his old ways. I think this game's going to be close. It always is between these two teams. It's a back and forth battle
Yeah, you
because
could say
neither
the same about.
defense is like solid. Like
Yeah.
neither defense is better than the other.
You could say the same thing about Mahomes this past week. 3 interceptions. One of them got called back for a penalty, I think. But I mean, it's not like the Chiefs and Mahomes struggled to beat the Jets, which is a terrible team. So
Just 1-3, just like the Panthers.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
mean,
one of those weeks.
it's just a bad week.
Yeah, I personally think that both Patrick Mahomes and Kirk Cousins are gonna go off against each other this week. Now the question is who's gonna win? It's gonna be close. I think this is gonna be a shootout, but Chiefs win by 3.
I'll also take Chiefs by 3.
With it being a home field advantage, I got to go with the Vikings by 3. I'm still saying 3, but I think the Vikings with home field advantage take this one.
That's fair.
Looking
I
at
wish I had more faith because that Chiefs offense has not been like it was last year or the year before. The
Yeah.
year before that, it hasn't been stellar. I mean, he's got Travis Kelce, but where are his receivers at? He doesn't
Well,
have
Yeah.
those big
one thing you got to take into
playmakers.
account with this, Will, is it's the Vikings defense that has not been great. It's been all right,
Yeah.
but it has not been great these past few weeks.
Same
I gotta
thing goes for
side with
Kansas City.
I think I gotta side with Paulo and Chris on this one for Chiefs by 3.
Hey,
I think they're still gonna score a
that's
good
okay.
bit, but I think the Chiefs are gonna win it.
If the Chiefs
Yeah.
win it, I'll buy a round in November when we're in Louisiana.
Well,
Bet.
well, Chris ain't gonna be there for that.
Oh, nuts.
I'll take
I'll buy
his.
Chris a round another time.
Paulo will take 2.
But I'm saying Kirk's about to pull. You like that? You know what I'm saying? Like Kirk's about to get in there.
Big Kirko about
Hey,
to
he
show
better.
Big
You could
Kirko,
just-
you know what I'm saying? Big
He
Kirko.
better. He's on my team.
up. Are you starting him?
Well,
I
yeah.
guess you got to,
Wilkins-
huh?
You know what? Will can just Venmo me from here. I'll just buy my own drink at my local bar.
FaceTime Chris and
Chris
take
and
the
those Hurricanes.
shot at the same time.
All right.
That's right.
Here's the big one, the one that people have been waiting to see. We got the Cowboys and 49ers Sunday night football
And a Sunday night, a prime time game for the
what a great
ages.
game
in
that's gonna be.
California.
It really is.
Yes, probably the
That's
best one
gonna
of
be
the
a solid
season.
game.
If Niner fans and Cowboy fans aren't fighting on TV, because I know they hate each other's guts, I would be very disappointed. But
I
ooh,
think this game is really going to set apart the NFC. I think this
Oh,
is going to be one
definitely.
of those that's going to show who's going to take first in the NFC. The Eagles still being close, but with these two going at it, I think that'll be a very good indicator on who wins.
yeah,
I think the
It's-
Niners are taking this by 10. I think they're about to show everyone that they're the
10?
best team in football. Dallas is not invincible. Like on offense,
They're not.
Like
They're not,
Dallas's offense is gonna have to do something, and I think the Niners
Mhm.
defense is gonna say no.
I think, and I hate to say it, I'm gonna go out
Don't
on a
do
limb
it.
here, and
Don't
they're
do
gonna
it,
probably
Will.
make me look like a
oh
fool.
no,
I
Oh,
think
no.
that Dallas wins by 3, not by more. I think it's gonna be that close, but they're gonna make me look like a fool. I know it; they always do. But I think Dallas goes out and takes a win, but just barely goes out there and grabs a win.
I don't know. Like, I hear you, but I don't have enough faith in the Cowboys to beat the Niners. The Cowboys haven't beaten the Niners in a while. I mean, I don't know when the last time they beat them, and since it's a home game for the Niners, they're gonna want to beat the Cowboys, and they want to make them submit. I mean, actually, you know what? Now I think about it, I think the Niners played the Cowboys in the playoffs last season, and
Yep.
they smoked them.
Yep.
And that's how. So, with that being said, I have to give the Niners at least by 10 in this matchup.
Yep.
But it will be close throughout the entire game. But the Niners defense is going to make the Cowboys submit. And then Christian McCaffrey is just going to run all over them. I can just see it.
I think
perfectly.
it comes down to like the deciding factor for this is the Cowboys offense. I think the Cowboys defense can hold their own for the most part. But if the offense can't do anything for Dallas, the defense is going to be out there way longer. They're going to get tired, and that's when San Francisco is going to pull away.
As good as
I don't think it's gonna be the run game that does it. I think they've got run game pretty on lock. I think it's gonna be their secondary that's gonna give up the points.
who the Cowboys.
I mean, you lost Trevon Diggs. Yeah,
Yeah.
they lost Trevon Diggs, which is a major piece in that secondary. And I just don't think they have that secondary. I mean, you have Stephon Gilmore, but he's up there in age, and you've got Debo and Ayuk,
Yeah.
out there on the edge. I don't think he can keep up all game long. I just don't think it's happening. I think that's if they lose, that'll be their downfall is that secondary. I don't think it's going to be that front seven. They're going to have the run game knocked down.
I mean, as good as these two defenses are, maybe the top two in the league. I think just the 49ers got Dallas beat on offense.
Yep.
I'd take Brock Purdy over Dak, at least in terms of like mistakes and like trust. I mean, you got McCaffrey and Pollard that are, they're in the same ballpark. But I mean, 49ers, you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got Kittle. McCaffrey can still catch and run. He's one of the best running backs at that. So, I mean, I don't think Dallas is gonna be able to shut down the Niners.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the 49ers are winning this unless the Dallas offense can come out and just ball the best they have all season so far. I don't see them winning. I'm going to say
Yeah,
49ers by 10.
So we're all in agreement except for Will.
Yes.
Ugh,
I will stand alone.
the Texans fan of all people, Will, said you would destroy the Cowboys, not join them.
Yes.
Trust me, it tasted horrible, like a night after, a morning after drinking, heavy drinking coming out of my mouth.
Oh. All right. Last game of the
Last
week
but
for
not least.
Monday night. Packers Raiders. This one's another one that's like it should be obvious, but the Packers
The
should win
Packers.
this.
And what's crazy is the Packers just haven't been very good lately. Like, yeah, they had their comeback win against us last week, and then they tried to come back against the Lions, but the Lions just shut them down quickly. I don't know. It's just I find the Packers inconsistent right now in terms of like trying to trying to. It's mostly on offense though. Like their defense has been decent. They're not terrible. That's the reason why they've been able to try to come back in their games, especially against the Saints last week, and not so much against the Lions the previous week. Well, you know what I mean. But I just don't have enough faith in the Packers offense for them to stay consistent because it's like they go straight up cold. It's like they just come out of the freezer and they start to finally warm up and melt in the second half. And that's when they're most dangerous is in the second half. But when you're not scoring much in the first half, you're just not going to win games. So, granted, this week, this is hard because the Raiders aren't that good either. But the Raiders did give a good fight. They're probably their best fight so far this season against the Chargers this past week. I don't know where to go with this.
If you ask
It's
me,
just hard.
I think the Packers are winning this just because I think they have the better defense. The Raiders' defense is not great. They struggled against the Broncos in Week 1. They've had a lot of struggles all season. Last week, the only reason I think they kept it so close is because of the Chargers. The Chargers' defense is also not great. It's the same that we've
is
said
also
for the
true.
past few weeks. Both the Chargers and the Vikings, their offense is great. Their defense is not so much. That is the reason they've been losing so many games.
That is fair. Yes.
So with this one,
So-
I'm taking Packers by 10.
I'm going to agree. But I'm going to say Packers by 6.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders on this one. I'll go Raiders by 3.
Okay.
I'll pick
I
on
mean,
the
Yeah,
underdog.
I'm going Packers by 3 because at least the defense, I feel like their defense is just a little bit better than the Raiders' defense is. And I mean, it's showed over the past few weeks, but I don't think it's going to be an insane game. I think it'll just be kind of back and forth, not high scoring. but probably no more than 7. I think the Packers pull it out by 7.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
Packers are
this
winning.
one, yeah, this one I feel like could be a toss up, but I got Packers by 6.
Well, we almost had a perfect week of all the same picks.
Until
Almost.
the end when
Will screwed it up.
Whoa,
Thanks.
first off,
Thanks, Will.
I have reason to.
You carrot cake loving shenanigan.
I will not stand
You
for the
better
carrot
watch
cake
your mouth.
slander.
I will strike you
I'm gonna
down.
be honest, I don't think I've ever had carrot cake, so
Bro, it's gross. It's
Carrot
gross.
cake bussin'.
No,
Especially with a glass of
no.
milk.
Mm-mm.
Carrot
You know
cake's so
what?
good.
It just makes me feel like
oh
you know,
god.
sometimes.
No.
With that again.
No.
Be like that.
What y'all don't know is this whole time that we've been recording this, I've been eating chocolate cake over here.
Bruh. And you didn't
Wow.
share?
Makes,
You didn't
Man.
finish yet?
makes
It's been an hour.
Oh no,
Dude.
it's gone. It's been gone since I think we were on the Saints and Patriots game.
Oh, come on.
It's been gone
And
for
this
that
man-
long.
This man didn't share.
Yeah,
Let it
some
be known,
chocolate
folks,
cake
that
with
Jose
pecans
had...
on top. Mm,
Oh, wait, you had pecans. Never mind. I'm good.
how dare you?
and this man, he hates carrot cake and pecans. I think we should just boot him at this point.
For those watching, boo this man. Boo him.
Boo.
Let the haters hate. Let the haters hate.
All right. Well, that does it for this week. Paulo,
Alright.
Yep.
take us out.
Shall we sing our
Take us
song?
out? Okay.